Welcome to a new episode of the CAP Podcast Consumer Ammunition Tactics Podcast. I got a special guest today, Shanita Hester. I'm going to read her bio. We're going to get straight to it. So meet Shanita Hester, a real estate investor specializing in tax deed and tax lien sales. I don't know nothing about that, so you're going to, teach us. Nita has always had interest in the real estate industry since a young age. While she was in college, she worked as a life insurance agent. Okay. Immediately after graduating college, she began her journey in new construction and having a rental property. Once reintroduced to the tax sales, she was determined to explore the ins and outs of this overlooked lane in the industry. Now she's ready to share her secrets that's helped her win at auctions and do so without using her own money. That sounds like credit. Welcome to the podcast, Nita. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing all right. Thank you
I'm
for having
blessed. I'm
me
blessed. Most definitely,
on.
I'm blessed. Big Nita in the building. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, just to start off the podcast, so that people know?
Well, I've been in real estate for about 5, 6 years.
Okay.
I started into the tax sales. I've been going to tax sales for a few years. I was into them when I was younger. When I was a teenager, my family had been going to tax sales, and um, was made me so passionate about it is that my family lost our childhood home in a
Oh,
tax sale, in a tax auction. So it became really personal for me to learn, why that happened, how we could recover it. From there, I just learned everything about the tax sales that I could, the tax deeds, the liens, the surplus funds, and, you know, everything surrounding it. So
okay.
that's and
Okay. Cool. So let us know like how you grew up. Were you in Atlanta? Were you in Ohio? Like where'd you actually grow up? Like let's get the whole story from the beginning.
Okay, so I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and I
Okay.
spent my summers in Atlanta. So I'm somewhat of a hybrid, but as far as real estate, I spent most of my time in the Cleveland market. Um, when I was younger, the tax sales, if you don't know what a tax sale is, basically when a homeowner is delinquent on their property taxes, the county puts a lien on it, on their property, and they'll sell the lien to the highest bidder. And the highest bidder will receive a tax lien certificate. They don't own the property, but they own the highest lien on the property. So that's like
Gotcha.
a tax lien certificate sale. But a tax deed sale goes into where they actually sell the property itself, where the
Okay.
opening bid begins at the amount owed. So when I was younger, houses were selling for $200, full blown single family homes, duplexes, commercial property was starting at $1,000. And I was somewhat of a tomboy. I used to do cleanouts with with the guys. So I
Yeah.
was always around in the real estate realm. So when I got older, I say the houses were going for about $500. And yeah, my first piece of land was $300.
Oh wow. That's when was that?
That was about 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay. So no, wait, okay. So you said you've been in the game for like 5, 6 years?
Yes. So I
Okay.
so yeah, so I've done other real estate that isn't tax sales. Doesn't have to do with tax sales. So rental
Gotcha.
and construction. So rehabs and all that. That's not new. That's not doesn't have anything to do with tax sales.
Okay, got you. So you said what got you into it was something happened to your childhood home? Like y'all were delinquent?
Yeah, so I want to say 2020. Um, the house that I grew up in from when I was younger, my
Yeah.
parents were delinquent on the property taxes. And so we were being notified, hey, it's going up for auction. And the notices were coming. I mean, by this time I was living in Georgia full time, but going home to visit, I see this notices no one was paying attention to. So um it was it was close to $30,000.
Oh, wow.
So they give you an option to be able to pull it from the sale if you can come up with all the money the day before the sale. But for a lot of people, that's unrealistic. So it sold at the auction for about $25,000 more than what was owed. And then I was introduced to the surplus funds, which, you know anything about that?
I personally do, but I want you to explain for the podcast listeners. I'm not too tapped into it. I just know that it's when you're owed excess money. And I know people call people to be, oh, you're owed money. And, they kind of do like a middleman thing to get them the funds, but you could probably do a better job explaining.
Well, it's that simple. So surplus funds are basically what's owed, the difference between what's owed and what was paid. So technically, if you only owe the county $30,000, if your property sells for more than that, then whatever is excess in the amount you're owed is owed to you, but they don't notify you of that. A
Yeah,
lot of people don't know. So
exactly.
a lot of counties have it where sometimes after a certain amount of time, you don't have access to that money anymore. It just goes to
Hmm.
the county fund and you just lose out on it. So yeah, people call around. It's not hard to find the property owners and put all the information together to reach out to people and let them know, hey, there's money out here for you and I can help you get that. So
Hmm.
a lot of people do that.
Wait, so how did you know you were owed? Like, how'd your family know y'all was owed money?
You know, I was actually contacted by a lawyer.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was contacted by a lot of people that were claiming that they could help, but it just seemed like, scamish. It seemed very
Yeah,
fraudulent.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
actually had to dig. I dug out for a while and realized that it was some truth to it, but I still had assistance. So I went on and let someone get the surplus funds for us, but I assisted my parents in that process. So
Okay.
they were
So
able to,
y'all,
yeah, they got back about 18,000 of that 25 that was owed to them.
okay, they got that 18,000 and y'all going to Magic City and then, no, I'm playing. Okay, so y'all got the bag and then now what? You're just like, okay, now let me tap into these surplus funds, these tax deeds. Like how did it actually come about?
So after that, I was the tax sales were online. So when I was younger, the tax sales
Gotcha.
were all they were in person. They were down at the courthouse, they were annual, but since COVID, a lot of sales went online because they're able to generate more money, because you can bid from wherever. You don't have to be in person.
Yeah.
So from there, I actually bought a house in the same area that I grew up in, and I used credit to renovate it. And then I gifted it to my mother.
Mm.
So, I kind of took that whole thing and, you know, made the best out of it. I went on the tax sales and I looked week after week after week and I found a house that I thought would be good. And got that renovated and my parents live there now.
Nice. Congratulations. That's dope.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, most definitely. So one big thing you said there is credit. I know the people listening are big on credit, consumer laws, all that. It might be someone that's listening. Maybe she's a young Black girl as well. She's just like, okay, I don't know what to do. I'm working this 9 to 5. I'm tired of all that. So let's say she gets her credit right. She's ready to leverage and get in the game. Do you teach people how to get into this? Like, can you talk about it?
Yes. So basically, so what I did was I used my credit. So I used my credit to acquire properties, and then I use my credit to renovate so that I can
Mm,
maximize profits on the back end. That first property that I got from my mom, I did not use credit to purchase, but I used credit to renovate, and I used about 65,000 in business credit only
mm,
to renovate throughout the entire process. I mean, from drywall to hardwood floors, carpet, labor, everything. And I was able, because it's out of state for me, I had to fly back and forth, and I was able to use the reward points that I gained on my business credit cards to fly
mhm,
for free and
mm.
get upgrades. So, yeah, it's just a simple process. If you don't have credit, but if you don't have credit cards, I'm sorry, but you have decent credit and you're able to get funded for on the personal or business side, we prefer business because it's,
Yeah.
you get so many options for 0% interest and you don't have to over leverage yourself. like you would on your personal side, then you can liquidate those cards through methods like manufacturer spending or PayPal to pull the money off the card and go ahead and purchase what you need at the tax sale, because tax sales require certified funds. They want cash, cashier's checks, all certified funds. You cannot use a credit card directly. So, getting creative, you're able to use other people's money to acquire the assets we need to get going.
Most definitely, most definitely.